The Star Wars franchise is among the most popular and successful in Hollywood history, and now there's another chapter in its story, and fans just can't wait to see it. I'm talking about Andor, and with the release of new character posters, the hype among fans has tripled. Watch this video to the end, as I'll be bringing you the juiciest Andor news that you didn't know about. What's the latest about the upcoming premiere? Fans all over the world will be thrilled to hear that Lucasfilms, the company behind the Star Wars franchise, has just released 3 new posters for the upcoming Andor series. The poster features several major characters from the soon-to-be-released series, and as you can imagine, the fan anticipation has gone over the roof. The show is slated to premiere on Disney+, and the posters have given fans a glimpse of what they should expect. Although we aren't too sure of how much these images will translate over to the show itself, whatever the case may be, fans will not have to wait too long before their questions are answered, as the highly anticipated series will be premiering soon. Also, Star Wars enthusiasts will be hoping that Andor breathes some much-needed fresh air into the franchise, as it so desperately needs it. Who's on the posters? If you've not seen the posters, then I'm sure you can't wait to find out who's on them. Not to worry, I'm here to give you all the info you need. The posters feature a good number of the show's characters, and as you might have already guessed, it includes Diego Luna's main character, Cassian Andor. But that's not all. You also get to see Senator Mon Mothma, who is played by none other than Genevieve O'Reilly. To add to that, the poster also features Stellan Skarsgård as newcomer Luthen Rael. The 3 posters have something in common, as all the characters appear obscured by some kind of orange dust, while backed by some buildings and a set of flying X-Wing starfighters. All 3 posters also feature the same tagline, which reads, "The Rebellion Begins." So, what's Andor about? If you're a Star Wars fan, then you'd already be familiar with the way the stories are intertwined in between its films and show. You can expect the same from Andor, as the story will be focused on the backstory of Luna's titular character, as he makes his transition into the rebel freedom fighter that audiences were introduced to in 2016's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. There's a little twist in the tale though. Rather than being the war story that Rogue One is known for, Andor is more of a spy thriller. This is not to say the war isn't a part of the series, as Cassian's battle against the oppressive Galactic Empire does enough justice to that angle. Andor is definitely Cassian's story, but you can be sure that he won't be alone in his quests, challenges, failures, and successes. Who's in Andor's cast? Aside from Mon Mothma and Luthen Rael, Andor also stars Adria Arjona as Bix Caleen, Kyle Soller as the Imperial officer Cyril, Fiona Shaw as Marva, and Denise Goff as another officer, Deidre Miro. Goff has stated that her story will revolve around gender politics within the Empire, and this will offer a brand new perspective on the previously monolithic regime. There's more good news regarding the cast. I'm sure you'd be glad to hear that Forrest Whitaker will reprise his role as the rebel extremist Saul Guerrera, who fans will fondly remember from Rogue One. When is Andor expected to premiere? Fans all over the world have been disappointed before with the pushback of Andor's release, but as the popular saying goes, good things come to those who wait, and that wait will soon be over, actually in just about a week from this video. It's official, Star Wars Andor will premiere its first 3 episodes on September 21st, 2022, and you can watch it when it drops on Disney+. That being said, fans across the globe will hope that the show lives up to all the hype. It will be a big shame if it doesn't, as that will do the franchise's dwindling ratings little to no good. Expectedly, the writers and producers at Lucasfilms would have pulled all their creative geniuses together to give the loyal Star Wars fans the kind of show that they rightfully deserve. Which Star Wars movies or shows to watch before Andor? So that's it for Andor. The premiere is around the corner, and we already know the story is going to revolve around Cassian and the original uprising of the rebellion. But while you wait for the premiere, I need to remind you that Star Wars has a habit of typing its series with other shows and films in the universe, so if you're serious about enjoying and understanding Andor, then it's important that you check out some of the important stories leading up to this. Don't fret if you aren't sure of these stories to check out, as I have taken the time to gather what you need. Before we get into it, I have to mention that this guide is based on what we know so far about Andor, just from trailers and news. The content may change depending on future episodes, but we will keep you updated accordingly. That being said, here are the Star Wars movies and shows you need to watch before Andor. Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Star Wars A New Hope, Episode IX, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Episode III, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels. Now, here's why you should watch them. If you really want to get into the Andor story, the Rogue One is definitely top of the list of Star Wars movies or shows to watch. This is because it features Cassian Andor himself as one of the most notable characters. Another reason you should check out Rogue One is that it features a bunch of characters that may be brought back into the Andor series. Trust me, the spoiler was unintentional. Producer Tony Gilroy has mentioned that you can still enjoy Andor even if you haven't watched Rogue One. This is because the Andor series is a rewind of events as it takes place 5 years before Rogue One's story. All the same, there's no harm in knowing the full extent of Cassian's story, as it will without a doubt add more depth when watching the new series. Then again, it'll also be a good passing of time for you as you wait for Andor to release. So, for those who haven't been acquainted with any Star Wars movies or shows, another story you should check out is Star Wars A New Hope. This is definitely a must-see for Star Wars newbies, as it will help you further understand how the Empire has grown and dominated its reach over the Rebel Alliance. That aside, critics and fans alike have called it the very best release in Star Wars universe. Revenge of the Sith could also help you warm up for Andor. The reason is that the Star Wars timeline, the events from the movie take place before Andor starts. This movie's surely not as good as Star Wars A New Hope, but it's definitely worth checking out. Besides the fact that Revenge of the Sith sets up what the rebels are fighting against, it also contains some deleted scenes with Mon Mothma. And as you already know, Mothma's a very important character in Andor who also appears in Rogue One. The stories are tied together, and it'll be great if you watch them all to get the best possible Andor experience. What about the animated shows? Do they count? Star Wars animated shows aren't left out of their web of stories, which is why you would also want to watch The Clone Wars and Rebels, as they too feature Mon Mothma. Mothma makes an appearance in Season 3 and 4 of Rebels and a few episodes in The Clone Wars. Another reason you might need to check out The Clone Wars is that it is also set before Andor, and this means there might be some useful details to Mothma's backstory that you will need to know and take into the new series. As for Rebels, it's set around the same timeline as Andor, so it means that there may be several crossover events that will take place or have taken place in both series. As of the time of this video, Andor's premiere is about a week away, and I don't assume you have all the time in the world to watch all the recommended movies and shows before it drops. Nonetheless, if you're excited about the show, just like millions of fans around the world, then I'm sure you can make out this time. Then again, you don't have to watch them all. A few will surely be more than enough to prepare you for Andor's release and help you have a full understanding of the story. The Star Wars movies and shows mentioned here are available on Disney+, the same service where Andor will make its premiere. Happy streaming! So guys, what do you think about the new Andor posters? Awesome or not? Do you also think the series will do enough to rejuvenate the Star Wars franchise? Please let us know in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this video, kindly hit the like and share button. One more thing, it'll be awesome if you smash the subscribe and notification buttons too. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.